The hangar lights flickered as the Clithians prepared to escalate their tests. Weeks of observation had revealed the tank's incredible intelligence, but they still believed that control and strategy were within their reach. What they did not realize was that the relic tank had grown beyond mere observation. It was no longer just a machine. It had begun asserting itself. Dr. Yalara adjusted her instruments nervously. "We've pushed it far enough with simulations," she said. "If we continue, it will start creating solutions that we can't predict at all. We might finally see the full extent of its intelligence." Vryn, standing with arms crossed, nodded. "Very well. Initiate full engagement protocol. Let's see what it can truly do." The Clithians activated a massive simulated battle scenario. Drones, environmental hazards, and multiple objectives were set across the hangar's augmented terrain. The tank's sensors flickered as it scanned the environment, cataloging every obstacle and every potential threat. The room filled with holographic projections, projecting enemies of every size and speed, intended to overwhelm the machine. At first, the tank moved cautiously, analyzing the battlefield with patience. Its turrets rotated in perfect synchronization, and small adjustments in its treads allowed it to take advantage of cover. Then, as the drones advanced, the tank responded not reactively, but creatively. It rolled forward, dodging a series of incoming attacks, then used debris projected from the simulation as a barrier to protect itself. It flanked opponents with surprising speed, even though its size suggested sluggishness. Every movement displayed careful thought, efficiency, and, most importantly, unpredictability. Yalara's fingers flew over her console, sending additional challenges. "It's adapting faster than I can calculate. Every obstacle we introduce, it finds a new solution, one we didn't program or anticipate." Vryn grunted. "It's not just intelligence. It's human intelligence. Strategy, improvisation, courage. It's using principles that we never thought to simulate." The tank paused for a moment, then activated its secondary systems. Small energy shields projected briefly around it, deflecting attacks in ways the Clithians had never taught it. It moved almost like a living organism, protecting itself while planning its next move. Its actions were precise, intentional, and yet flexible, combining human creativity with the durability of steel. "Commander, it's fighting back," Yalara whispered. "Not against us, but against the simulation itself. It's creating scenarios, testing them, and adjusting in real time. It's teaching us, showing us how humans think under pressure." Vryn stared, astonished. Humans were underestimated because they didn't rely on technology alone. They relied on ingenuity, imagination, adaptability. That's what this relic embodies. That's why it's unstoppable. The tank's movements became more daring. It feigned retreats, drawing holographic enemies into traps. It used terrain, simulated projectiles, and even environmental hazards as advantages. Every action reflected a mind capable of predicting the unpredictable, of turning weakness into strength. Yalara's voice was barely audible. "It's not just surviving. It's teaching resilience, creativity." The human spirit. Every calculation, every maneuver reflects lessons humans learned over millennia. "It's showing us the essence of humanity in motion." Vryn, normally stoic, felt unease creeping in. "We created simulations to control it, to challenge it. But it has taken control. The humans left intelligence behind in machines. We're no longer the observers, we're the observed." The tank now began interacting more directly. It anticipated every drone movement, every attempt to probe it, adjusting strategies faster than the Clithians could track. Its core pulsed with energy, brighter now, as if the tank's awareness was expanding with each passing moment. Yalara realized that the tank was more than tactical genius. It was reflective. It could analyze behavior, interpret patterns, and use creativity to overcome obstacles. It wasn't just reacting to the environment. It was improving, growing stronger, smarter, more capable with every engagement. The Clithians tried new strategies, deploying simulated reinforcements, creating unpredictable environmental hazards, and altering the terrain mid-engagement. Yet the tank adapted instantly, always finding the most efficient path to victory, always protecting itself, always learning. It was a mirror of human adaptability, clever, bold, and unyielding. "Commander," Yalara said, her voice tinged with awe. "It's not just a machine. It's a message. The humans built something that embodies their essence, resilience, creativity, courage, even when outnumbered or outgunned." Vryn stepped back, watching as the tank executed a sequence of movements that neutralized every threat in the simulation. It had turned the odds against itself into an advantage, a concept the Clithians had never programmed. We'd laughed at humans. We assumed they were weak, and yet this relic proves they were always underestimated. Always. The tank paused in the center of the hangar, sensors sweeping the room. It seemed aware of every Clithian watching it. Its presence was commanding yet non-threatening. It did not attack, but the intelligence it displayed was undeniable. For the first time, Yalara felt the weight of history. Humans had been underestimated, laughed at, and written off. Yet they had left behind machines that could challenge even the most advanced species. "This is proof of their spirit," she said softly. "Even after centuries, even after being buried, their ingenuity endures." Vryn nodded slowly, his voice quiet. "And we are witnessing it firsthand. We thought we controlled the experiment. We do not. The tank controls it. And through it, the humans control the lesson." The tank's lights flickered, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. It had moved beyond programming and simulation. Its awareness extended beyond the physical space, as if it understood strategy, ethics, and adaptability. It was not aggressive, but it was powerful, and more importantly, it was alive in a way the Clithians had never imagined. Yalara continued monitoring, her hands trembling slightly. "It's teaching us, Commander. Every action shows how humans overcame impossible odds. They didn't rely on brute strength. They relied on strategy, innovation, and courage. That's why they survived. That's why this tank exists." Vryn glanced at the tank, feeling a mix of respect and fear. "We mocked them. We thought ourselves superior, and yet we are learning from a machine built centuries ago. We are seeing the truth. Humans were never primitive. They were extraordinary." The tank, now fully engaged with its environment, executed a final demonstration. It positioned itself strategically, using every simulated obstacle to its advantage. Drones and threats were neutralized without destruction, with precision, efficiency, and creativity. Every movement was a lesson in adaptability, patience, and human ingenuity. Yalara stepped back, awestruck. "It's more than strategy. It's philosophy. Every movement tells a story. Every maneuver teaches us about humans, their courage, their resilience, their unpredictability." Vryn finally spoke, his voice low but resolute. "We thought we were testing a machine. We were wrong. We are witnessing humanity itself, encoded, enduring, and awake." The tank paused, sensors sweeping the hangar one last time. Its lights glowed steadily, pulsing like a heartbeat that carried centuries of human ingenuity. The Clithians, who had once laughed at humans, now faced the truth. Intelligence, courage, and adaptability could not be measured by technology alone. The relic tank had shown them that humans, though long gone from the battlefield, had left behind a legacy far stronger than metal or firepower. It was a legacy of thought, spirit, and determination, an echo of humanity that could not be silenced, even after centuries. As the night stretched over Zithra, the tank rested, still alert, its core pulsing gently. The Clithians realized they were no longer the observers. They were witnesses to a force they could neither fully control nor understand. Humanity had awakened once more, through steel and ingenuity, and the universe was about to remember that humans, though underestimated, were a force to be reckoned with. The hangar was alive with anticipation. Weeks of testing had revealed the tank's extraordinary intelligence, but the Clithians had not yet seen its full potential. Today, they decided to push it to the limit, deploying the largest simulation yet, a full-scale battlefield scenario, complete with multiple enemy units, shifting terrain, and unpredictable threats. Dr. Yalara stood at her console, her sensors tracking every movement of the tank. "This is it, Commander," she said. "If it can navigate this scenario, we'll understand the true genius of human design." Commander Vryn's antennae twitched nervously. "I expect brilliance, but this might surpass even what we can measure. Be ready for surprises." As the simulation began, the tank moved with calm precision. Its treads rolled over uneven terrain, adjusting for every obstacle. Enemy drones advanced in patterns designed to trap it, yet the tank anticipated each move. It didn't just react, it calculated, adapted, and improvised simultaneously. Yalara's voice trembled with awe. "It's thinking 5 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead. Every action is perfectly timed. Every decision is intelligent. It's..." Human ingenuity in motion. The tank executed maneuvers that the Clithians had not considered possible. It used simulated debris as cover, feigned retreats to draw enemies into ambushes, and even manipulated the environment to block attacks. Every strategy was precise yet creative, a blend of logic and intuition. Bryn stepped closer, watching intently. We thought humans were primitive. We thought we had outgrown them, and yet this machine proves that human intelligence cannot be measured by age or technology alone. The tank's core pulsed brighter, as if acknowledging the recognition. Its sensors scanned the simulated battlefield, adjusting strategy in real time. It coordinated attacks, defended itself, and executed maneuvers that combined centuries of human combat experience with instantaneous adaptation. Yalara realized something extraordinary. It's not just fighting a simulation. It's showing us what humans were capable of, their creativity, their courage, their problem-solving. This is a testament to their spirit. The Clithians tried to test its limits further, introducing unexpected hazards and high-speed attacks, but the tank responded flawlessly, outmaneuvering threats with ease. It was efficient, precise, and yet flexible, displaying an intelligence that was not programmed but inherited from human ingenuity. Bryn's voice was low, almost reverent. They underestimated humans always, but now the truth is undeniable. Humans were never to be dismissed. Their creativity, their adaptability, it survives even in relic form. The simulation reached its climax. The tank faced multiple enemy forces simultaneously, each threatening to overwhelm it, yet it moved with perfect synchronization, neutralizing threats with minimal effort and maximum efficiency. Its every action demonstrated strategy, adaptability, and courage, the very qualities that had allowed humans to survive against impossible odds. Yalara could hardly contain her excitement. It's perfect. Every movement, every decision. It's teaching us the human way of thinking. The humans didn't just survive, they innovated. They adapted. They conquered challenges no one else could. The tank paused at the center of the battlefield, sensors sweeping the hangar. Its core pulsed steadily, a rhythm like a heartbeat, alive with intelligence. The Clithians realized they had witnessed not just a machine outperforming simulations, but the legacy of humanity itself. Bryn turned to Yalara, his tone quiet but firm. We thought this was a relic. We thought it was old, useless, outdated. But it is, alive, and in its intelligence we see humans. We see their courage, their ingenuity, their spirit. The tank began to retract, moving toward the exit of the simulation arena. It did not attack or threaten. It simply demonstrated its autonomy. Every movement was purposeful, precise, and reflective of human brilliance. Yalara whispered, "It's finished the challenge. But more than that, it has taught us a lesson. Humans were never primitive. They were never weak. And even in this relic, their essence survives, inspiring all who witness it." Bryn nodded. "The galaxy will remember this. The Clithians will remember this. Humans may be long gone, but their ingenuity, courage, and creativity endure. And this relic is proof." As the tank powered down gently, its core still pulsing softly, the Clithians felt a mixture of awe and humility. They had tested it, challenged it, and yet the tank had revealed far more than any simulation could predict. Humanity, through steel and ingenuity, had awakened once more. The hangar fell silent, the echoes of the tank's presence lingering. Yalara and Bryn stood together, understanding the magnitude of what they had witnessed. The tank was not just a machine. It was a testament, a reminder, and a symbol of human endurance. And as the twin suns of Zithara set beyond the horizon, the relic tank remained vigilant, its core pulsing with life. It had awakened to remind the galaxy that humans, clever, creative, and courageous, could never truly be forgotten. The Clithians, who had once laughed at the humans' primitive technology, now bowed to the brilliance of their legacy, and in that moment the universe itself seemed to acknowledge that humans, though underestimated, were a force unlike any other. The galaxy had grown silent. For centuries, civilizations had spread across countless star systems, building vast empires and weaving intricate networks of trade and communication. In this corner of the Milky Way there was a sense of calm, a quiet order that gave its inhabitants confidence. They believed they had seen it all. They believed no new life could rise to challenge them. On the edge of a serene star cluster, the planet Arendor glimmered like a jewel. Its oceans sparkled with turquoise light, and its continents were rich with rare minerals coveted by nearby civilizations. Arendor was home to the Lysari, a proud and ancient race. The Lysari had long dominated this region, mastering advanced technology and cultivating knowledge that many considered unsurpassable. Their towers of glass and metal rose high above the sprawling cities, reflecting the light of the twin suns. From orbit, Arendor looked peaceful, orderly, and untouchable. Commander Vaynar of the Lysari fleet stared at the star charts in his command center. His wings fluttered nervously, a subtle gesture of anticipation, though he did not admit it to himself. "Scans are clear," Vaynar said. His voice was calm but tense. No anomalies detected, no new vessels, nothing approaching from the outer rim. His first officer, Lyra, tilted her head, a gesture that conveyed curiosity. "You are certain, Commander? The outer systems have been quiet for decades, but quiet does not always mean empty." Vaynar exhaled, a plume of blue vapor curling into the air. "We have maintained continuous observation. No unknown activity. The galaxy believes us vigilant. It is as it should be." Outside the orbiting observation station, the stars stretched endlessly. It was a familiar view, one that had not changed in generations. Yet something deep within Vaynar stirred, a sense of unease he could not name. He dismissed it. The Lysari had nothing to fear, or so they thought. Far beyond Arendor, in the uncharted reaches of the galaxy, a solitary vessel moved at incredible speed. Its sleek hull shimmered under the faint light of distant suns. Unlike any Lysari craft, it was streamlined, simple, and efficient. The vessel's energy signature was unlike anything the Lysari sensors had catalogued. Inside the human ship, Captain Mara Hayes sat in her command seat, eyes scanning multiple displays. Her crew moved with calm precision, each member performing their duties as though instinct had guided them through countless missions. Humans had explored farther than most civilizations dared, driven by a restless curiosity and unyielding determination. "Approaching Arendor," Mara said, her voice steady but filled with quiet excitement. "Prepare the survey drones. We need to understand the planet before making contact." Her first officer, Lieutenant Raj Patel, nodded. "Drones are ready. Deploying now." Outside the ship, small drones separated from the main hull, their sensors probing the planet's surface. They scanned the mineral deposits, atmospheric conditions, and signs of intelligent life. The data streamed back in real time, displaying a picture of a thriving world. Forests stretched across continents dotted with shimmering cities. Energy patterns suggested advanced technology, but the readings were not hostile. Yet, Mara smiled. "Interesting," she said. "They've grown comfortable." "Too comfortable. Let's see how they react when we arrive." Back on Arendor, the Lysari were oblivious to the approaching vessel. Their daily lives continued uninterrupted. Scholars debated theories of quantum propulsion. Traders negotiated deals that spanned multiple star systems. Children played in the parks of floating cities, unaware of the silent eyes watching from beyond their skies. It was only when the outer sensors picked up the strange energy signature that the calm shattered. Vaynar's wings twitched nervously. "Unidentified vessel detected," he said. The words felt strange on his tongue, heavy with implications. Lyra leaned over the console. "How fast?" "That's impossible. It cannot travel this speed naturally." Vaynar did not answer immediately. He stared at the display, noting the trajectory and the rapid approach. "Prepare the fleet," he finally commanded.
"We do not know what we are dealing with."
No one should enter Arendor unannounced. The Lysari fleet scrambled into formation, sleek vessels cutting through space with precision. Each ship was armed with defensive arrays and communication disruptors, designed to control any intrusion. They were confident, trained, and sure that no force could challenge them. Meanwhile, the human ship descended gracefully into the system. Unlike the Lysari, humans did not rely solely on brute force or overwhelming firepower. They were clever, adaptable, and capable of thinking beyond established patterns. Mara guided the vessel expertly, weaving through gravitational currents with fluid precision. The first drone landed on Arendor's surface, sending back images of vast cities and sprawling landscapes. The Lysari initially dismissed the readings as harmless probes, but then the humans deployed more, small autonomous vehicles that moved like lightning, scanning and analyzing faster than the Lasari could react. Vaynar's eyes widened. They are everywhere. How is this possible? Lyra shook her head. They appear in numbers far greater than they have launched. Yet that no aggression, only observation. This is strange. Strange does not mean harmless, Vaynar replied, tension in his voice. Prepare the warning signals. They must not land. On the planet's surface, the first human scouts touched down in carefully selected locations, blending technology with careful observation. They recorded data on the cities, the energy grids, and the population movements. Every step was calculated yet swift. Every action displayed efficiency and intelligence. Mara watched the feed, her eyes sparkling with quiet pride. They think we are just explorers, she said. They do not understand. We adapt, we learn, and we do not wait for permission. The Lasari tried to communicate, sending signals and warnings through every known channel, but the humans responded in ways the Lasari had not anticipated, mirrored the messages, adapted to frequencies, and used the information to navigate more efficiently. Each interaction seemed to surprise the Lasari, who were unaccustomed to such quick learning and unpredictable tactics. Vaynar's confidence faltered. They learned from us too quickly. This is unprecedented. Perhaps we underestimated them, Lyra whispered, her voice barely audible. On the human ship, Mara noticed the subtle panic in the Lasari's responses. Good, she said. They are seeing us as more than they expected. That hesitation, that doubt, it is already working in our favor. By the time the Lasari fully mobilized their fleet, the humans had already established a foothold on several outlying areas. They had set up temporary research stations, deployed communication relays, and begun mapping the planet's resources. All of it was done with careful precision, yet at a pace that astonished the local race. For the Lasari, the moment was a shock. They had believed the galaxy quiet, peaceful, and under their control. They had assumed that no new species could rise fast enough to challenge their dominance. And yet here were humans, fast, clever, unyielding. Lightning had arrived at their doorstep, and the consequences were only beginning to unfold. As the suns of Arendor dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the sprawling cities, Vaynar stared out at the stars. He knew the galaxy was about to change. Something unexpected had arrived, something unstoppable, and somewhere among the humans, Mara smiled at the planet below. The adventure had only just begun. The night sky above Arendor shimmered with twin moons, casting a gentle silver glow over the human research stations that had begun appearing across the planet. Humans moved with purpose, their steps quiet but precise. Unlike the Lasari, they did not rely on grandeur or intimidation. Their strength lay in adaptability, intelligence, and a surprising speed of action. Captain Mara Hayes walked among the first human bases modules, checking the progress of the teams. Engineers adjusted equipment, while scientists analyzed mineral samples and atmospheric data. Scouts transmitted holographic images back to the ship, creating a three-dimensional map of the planet's surface. Every task was methodical, efficient, and coordinated with an almost instinctive understanding of their environment. Lieutenant Raj Patel approached her, a tablet in his hands. The Lasari are watching us closely, he said. Their fleet is still in orbit, but they're not attacking yet. I think they're trying to understand us, Mara nodded. Good, let them watch. Observation can be more powerful than action. They think they are in control, but we are the unknown factor. That will work in our favor. The Lasari, on the other hand, were anything but confident. Commander Vaynar paced the central chamber of his flagship. His wings, usually held in careful control, twitched with anxiety. They spread too fast, he said, more to himself than to anyone else. We expected one landing team, maybe two. But there are dozens, perhaps hundreds of them. And they move with coordination beyond our predictions. Lyra, standing nearby, frowned. We must respond. They cannot be allowed to establish a permanent foothold. If we delay any longer, it will be impossible to contain them. Vaynar shook his head. Containment relies on understanding the opponent. But we do not understand them. They are unpredictable. Every tactic we attempt, they adapt instantly. Meanwhile, on the surface of Arendor, humans continued to deploy small devices. Energy scanners, environmental analyzers, and communication relays formed a network connecting every station. The drones were everywhere, silent, swift, and precise. They mapped the cities, the energy grids, and the surrounding forests, feeding information back to the human ship. and allowing Mara and her team to anticipate Lissari movements. A Lissari patrol attempted to intercept one of the drones, sending a warning pulse to its operators. The drone, however, responded instantly, calculating an alternative route and completing its scan before slipping away. The Lissari officers watched in disbelief. "They are learning," one murmured. "They are learning from us in real time." Mara observed the unfolding scene on her monitor. "Exactly," she said quietly. "They underestimate us because they cannot imagine a species that adapts this quickly. That hesitation, that disbelief, it is already giving us an advantage." The Lissari decided to send envoys, attempting to establish communication. A sleek vessel descended near one of the human stations, its lights glowing bright against the darkened sky. Vaynar's voice resonated through the ship. "Humans," he said, "you are not permitted to remain here. Depart immediately or face consequences." Mara replied with calm precision, her voice steady over the universal translator. "Commander Vaynar, we mean no harm. We are explorers. Our purpose is observation, study, and mutual understanding. We do not see conflict." Vaynar's frustration was evident. "We do not trust you. Your species is unknown and your methods are rapid. You cannot simply arrive and claim the planet." Mara smiled faintly. "We are not claiming. We are learning, and learning sometimes requires presence. If you give us cooperation instead of conflict, both our peoples will benefit." The Lissari officers exchanged uneasy glances. Vaynar, however, remained steadfast. "We will not allow interference. This is our territory. Leave." Instead of responding with force, Mara ordered the drones to project holographic demonstrations of human technology. Simple machines that improved efficiency, energy harvesters, and transportation systems that were surprisingly compact yet effective. The Lissari envoys observed, initially with skepticism, but as the devices operated flawlessly, curiosity began to replace doubt. "They are clever," Lyra admitted reluctantly. "But clever alone is not enough. They still do not understand our technology fully." "Perhaps," Vaynar agreed, "but cleverness combined with adaptability, that is dangerous." On Arendor, humans began establishing small trade outposts with minor alien species previously unknown to the Lissari. They offered assistance in energy management, agricultural techniques, and communication networks. The smaller species were intrigued by humans' practical solutions and efficient strategies. They began cooperating willingly, forming tentative alliances with the species that had arrived unexpectedly, but with purpose and respect. Back in orbit, Vaynar realized the challenge was no longer about brute strength. Humans were reshaping relationships, forming networks, and creating influence faster than the Lissari could counter. Their progress was lightning fast, both figuratively and literally, and it spread across the planet with remarkable efficiency. Mara and her team also discovered unique geological formations with enormous energy potential. Humans quickly began designing devices to harvest the resources without harming the environment, a stark contrast to the Lissari, who often relied on overwhelming force to control energy sources. "Efficiency and respect," Mara said, observing the project. "That's how we win hearts, not with weapons. Force is predictable. Adaptability is lightning." One evening, a small Lissari reconnaissance team tried to ambush a human outpost, believing that intimidation would drive them away. Humans had anticipated the move. Without confrontation, they rerouted energy fields and created illusions of a larger human presence. When the Lissari arrived, they were surprised to find no humans in sight. The outpost remained fully functional, and the drones had continued their work uninterrupted. Vaynar's frustration reached its peak. "Every move we make, they anticipate or adapt. It is as if they are always one step ahead." Lyra shook her head. "They are not one step ahead. They are simply different. Their thinking is not bound by our expectations. They do not act according to patterns we understand." The Lissari fleet, once confident and powerful, now hesitated. Humanity's arrival was more than an intrusion. It was a challenge to the very way the Lissari perceived the galaxy. For the first time, the Lissari questioned their own superiority. On the human ship, Mara received reports from scouts exploring distant moons. They had discovered rare minerals and potential new habitats for future colonies. Her eyes sparkled as she read the updates. "They thought they could contain us," she said. But containment was never the plan. Observation, adaptation, speed, that is how we arrive like lightning. As the days passed, Humans continued their rapid yet peaceful expansion across Arendor. They repaired failing energy grids, assisted local communities, and shared knowledge that improved daily life. The Lysari observed in awe and suspicion. The humans were not trying to dominate. They were thriving through ingenuity, cooperation, and bold action. One night, Mara stood on a hill overlooking a human outpost. The twin moons reflected off the shimmering modules below, casting long shadows. She felt a surge of pride, not for conquest, but for what humans represented: courage, adaptability, and the relentless pursuit of understanding. "Tomorrow," she said softly, "we take the next step. We reach further, explore more, and show that lightning cannot be predicted. It can only be respected." And somewhere above, Vaynar stared at the planet, his wings trembling slightly. He realized that the galaxy would never be the same. Humans had arrived, swift as lightning, and their presence was already reshaping the future in ways he could scarcely comprehend. The silent galaxy had been awakened. Humanity's storm had begun. The skies above Arendor had never been so alive. Lysari warships hovered in tense formations, their sensors sweeping for any sign of human activity. They believed their superior technology and experience would intimidate the newcomers, but humans, as they soon discovered, did not behave as expected. Captain Mara Hayes observed the Lysari fleet from the command deck of her ship. Her crew had grown confident not from arrogance but from careful preparation. They knew that adaptability and quick thinking were their greatest strengths. "Commander," Lieutenant Raj Patel said, pointing to a display, "the Lysari are positioning for an orbital blockade. They intend to cut off our access to the surface. They believe that if they control the skies, they control us." Mara smiled faintly. "Let them think that," she replied. "We do not fight their expectations. We fight the situation itself." On Arendor's surface, human teams worked tirelessly, expanding their influence. Small autonomous drones moved like shadows across the cities, scanning, recording, and quietly improving infrastructure. Humans repaired malfunctioning energy grids, optimized transport systems, and assisted local populations without drawing attention to their own origins. Their impact was swift and effective, leaving Lysari observers puzzled and increasingly uneasy. Commander Vaynar's wings trembled as he studied the human activity. "They are not simply surviving," he said. "They are thriving and reshaping our systems as they go." "How is this possible?" Lyra, standing beside him, hesitated. "Perhaps we underestimated them. They do not fight like any species we have encountered. They are clever, adaptable, and unpredictable. That is dangerous." Meanwhile, Mara orchestrated a subtle but decisive move. Small human teams, equipped with portable communication arrays, reached out to minor alien factions that had long been under Lysari influence. Humans offered knowledge, resources, and collaboration. Unlike the Lysari, they did not demand obedience or submission. They offered mutual benefit. One such faction, the Nari, had long been isolated on a nearby moon. When human scouts arrived, they were cautious but curious. Mara's team demonstrated energy devices that could improve agricultural output without harming the environment. They shared simple but powerful techniques for water purification and communication. By the time the Lysari learned of the interaction, the Nari had already formed a partnership with the humans. They offered intelligence on Lysari fleet movements and planetary infrastructure. Humans had gained allies without a single weapon fired. Vaynar's frustration boiled over. "They turn our allies against us, without conflict. This is not strategy, it is lightning." On the human ship, Mara reviewed reports from the drones and scouts. "They expect direct confrontation," she said. "But humans do not always play by the rules they assume. Observation, adaptation, and collaboration are our weapons. Force is last. Understanding is first." The first encounter between humans and Lysari forces in orbit came sooner than expected. A Lysari fleet moved to blockade the main human vessel, intending to intimidate and force compliance. Mara did not panic. Instead, she ordered the deployment of decoy drones that created illusions of multiple vessels moving in unpredictable patterns. The Lysari scanned and targeted, but their sensors were overwhelmed. The real human ship slipped through the blockade with minimal interference, landing safely on an unoccupied plateau. Mara watched the readings carefully. "They believe their numbers guarantee control," she said, "but control is only as strong as the mind that understands it." They do not understand us yet. Vaynar, growing desperate, called a council with his highest-ranking officers. We must act decisively, he said. If we delay any longer, the humans will become untouchable. We cannot allow them to establish permanent presence on Arendor or influence other species. Lyra spoke cautiously. Commander, aggression may not work as it has in the past. They are adaptable, faster to learn than any species we have encountered. Direct confrontation may expose our weaknesses rather than their own. Vaynar's wings bristled. Then what do you suggest? They are strategic thinkers, yes, Lyra said. But their strength lies in speed, adaptation, and collaboration. If we underestimate these qualities, we may lose not just Arendor, but the respect of the entire sector. We need to understand them before engaging fully. Meanwhile, Mara's team had discovered a unique feature of Arendor's magnetic fields, an energy source that could amplify human technology beyond their usual limits. Engineers worked tirelessly to adapt their devices, ensuring efficiency and safety. These innovations allowed humans to communicate faster, travel quicker across the planet, and respond to Lysari movements almost instantly. The first Lysari attack was subtle, designed to intimidate. A small fleet descended near a human outpost, opening communication channels with sharp warnings. But Mara anticipated the move. Human teams activated energy shields and defensive drones, not to destroy the Lysari, but to demonstrate preparedness and intelligence. The Lysari were taken aback. Their assault had been neutralized without a single human casualty. Mara's calm voice came through the translators. Commander Vaynar, we do not seek war, but we are prepared. Any attempt to force us from Arendor will be met with strategic resistance, not recklessness. You have a choice. The message shook the Lysari Council. Vaynar's confidence faltered. They are not afraid, and they think faster than we do. Every move we plan, they seem ready for it. How can this be? Lyra placed a hand on his arm. Because they do not act like other species. Their strength is not in sheer power or tradition. Their strength is in ingenuity, resilience, and the ability to turn challenges into opportunities. Humans did not wait for Lysari decisions. They continued to build alliances with minor factions, repair vital infrastructure, and create networks of communication. Small actions had profound effects. Energy grids stabilized, transportation systems became more efficient, and minor species began sharing intelligence that the Lysari had long considered their own advantage. By the end of the first week of direct confrontation, the Lysari were forced to reassess. Their fleets had not been defeated in battle, yet humans had gained influence, allies, and access to resources faster than they could prevent. The galaxy was witnessing a new phenomenon, a species that did not dominate by force but by speed, intelligence, and adaptability. Mara watched the sensors and smiled. The galaxy expected us to play by their rules, she said. But lightning does not wait. Lightning strikes where it chooses, and it reshapes everything in its path. Vaynar convened an emergency council. We underestimated them, he admitted, a rare vulnerability showing in his voice. They are not like any species we have faced. We must rethink everything, our assumptions, our strategies, our confidence. We cannot rely on tradition alone. Lyra nodded slowly. The reckoning is upon us. We either adapt or we fall behind. The humans are not just visitors, they are a force of change. And change, Commander, can be unstoppable. On the human side, Mara prepared for the next phase. They would not seek conflict, but they would not retreat. Using intelligence gathered from both allies and scouts, humans devised plans to explore neighboring systems, establish communication networks, and demonstrate their presence across the sector. Every step was calculated yet bold, striking like lightning in the eyes of those who had assumed they were untouchable. And somewhere above Arendor, the Lysari fleet trembled, not from fear but from realization. The humans had arrived, and the galaxy's quiet order was being rewritten. The species that had believed themselves safe in their assumptions now faced a storm they could not predict, a lightning strike that demanded respect. The first reckoning had begun, and the rules of the galaxy were changing faster than anyone could have imagined. Humanity was no longer a newcomer. They were a force that others had to understand, adapt to, and perhaps even admire.